Hello everyone, welcome to a Tech Circle interview. Today we're interviewing Vikas Varma, who's the Chief Operating Officer of Mastercard South Asia business. We're going to be defining Mastercard's role in building a secure and scalable digital payments ecosystem in India, Asia, and globally to an extent. And we'll dive right in. Before we get to the questions, Vikas, I want to know what a typical day has looked for you. Post-pandemic in a sense versus pre-pandemic, and how much of the work has really changed when it comes to your role at the company?
Hi, good afternoon, Supriya, and thanks for having me here on this interview. Interesting question you asked about how my day looks like. So pre-pandemic, given that we are a B2B business and we work with largely financial institutions or fintechs, large merchants, governments. A lot of my role involves travel, and typically 2 to 3 days a week would be travel across India and South Asia, sometimes beyond that, largely for customer meetings. In my current role as COO, I'm mandated to look after the new and future growth opportunities that potentially our business could embrace. And so a lot of my time is spent then strategizing for the future as well. But I think interestingly, during the pandemic, since travel has been a complete restriction. We are not traveling, our customers are not expecting us to be there face to face. So a day, first of all, has become very much longer.
Off the top of your head, what are some of the emerging trends that you see at Mastercard, or even in a macro fintech way, that is going to shape the future of payments in India, and Asia, and just the new payment methods overall globally?
Fundamentally, digitization is accelerating very rapidly. And linked to that will be the sophistication of e-commerce as we go forward. And as a consumer, you'll find that there are more and more connected devices. You have a phone, I have a phone, and you have an iPad, an iPhone, an Android, and most of these devices are connected. Our apps are connected across the devices. So there will be more and more new ways for sellers to deliver products and services. And in the same way, because of connected devices, there will be new ways to shop for consumers as well. The other piece that's going to clearly happen is that as you have this growing plethora of connected devices and the popularity of e-commerce and remote payments, payments themselves will start to become invisible for delivering a very seamless consumer experience. For example, one can say that one doesn't get up in the morning to make a payment. You get up, you want to go to work, you take the metro, you'll stop by for a coffee, you'll pay a cab, and in the evening you'll go and buy something, on the way home. You just want the payment experience to be subsumed in your shopping experience and not be a separate part of your overall experience. And therefore, connected devices and digitization is going to enable that to happen. India and many other markets are feeling the rise of the young generation. For instance, last year, if you look at millennials as well as Gen Z, data suggests that they contributed $350 billion of spending power globally. That's a huge amount of money. So clearly, you will have customers and merchants and ecosystem players building capability to sort of cater to this very young, new generation of buyers. We believe, given the fact that COVID's been here for us sort of a fair amount of time, that will allow for behavior change to be permanent. And I think there are the various data points that suggest it, but typically it would be safe to say that 20 to 30% of all that we're seeing now in terms of digitalization or shifting to remote payments is going to be a permanent shift. In fact, recently we did a study in Mastercard, and respondents in India, probably higher than any other market in the APAC region, 49% of respondents said that they are planning to make an online purchase more frequently as they go forward.
All these changing expectations that you're talking about, and just that could be a result of just customers wanting more or less of payments, as you put it, in a sense. How do all these get translated into real world services and products at Mastercard's end? And in order to also put answer that question, could you try and give me a sense of how you look at all the stakeholders involved in the whole process of creating that future ecosystem in payments in India?
Well, let me touch upon a little bit about what's happening at the customer end. As communities are really promoting social distancing as a means of reducing the spread of the virus and stuff like that, even banks are trying to find new ways to incorporate better and better digital solutions, because where either themselves or their partners can work remotely and deliver well. So that's the first piece. The second piece, and this has happened on a day-to-day basis for banking consumers or consumers of financial services, in the world moving to sort of online transactions, clearly we find that banks have adopted technology and simple ways in which technology can add value-added services to give consumers, for example, a financial dashboard to see their balances from multiple banks at the real time, to pull money from an account or push it into an account in real time, and therefore have many ways in which to shop and many ways in which to make payments. And we've seen a huge sort of proliferation of that in the last year and a half, clearly spurred by the pandemic and remote and distant working. So that's from a customer standpoint. From businesses, small and large, I think one of the big dynamics that has changed, Supriya, is that there's been a fundamental way in which the way funds now flow between businesses, when businesses pay businesses for goods and services, that has fundamentally changed. So we are clearly seeing a reduction in physical cash, a reduction in checks being used for B2B, for example, and huge adoption of online or digital ways to pay. It could be a card, it could be a mobile wallet, or it could be a bank account. All of these have, seen substantial acceleration. I think the other piece that is very critical for businesses now is, from a timing standpoint, how they strengthen their core infrastructure in terms of investing in either modern payment platforms or things like cloud-based infrastructure to create either resilience, to build scale, and to be agile as well. I think very close to home, if you look at from Mastercard as a payment network's perspective, a very simple thing like creating a digital point of sale terminal and an e-commerce tool which basically allows a merchant to accept payments and to sell goods digitally by just downloading an app onto their smartphone. And these are some things that Mastercard has developed. We call it soft POS.
Can we take stock on what Mastercard's efforts have been towards the growing SMEs over the last 1 year? So how much has Mastercard done in terms of contributing to that kind of operations, and how have those scaled so far?
We actually committed about 250 crore rupees that we will spend to support MSMEs in this business as they sort of reduce themselves post this pandemic, help them towards business recovery, and help them deal with the pandemic and help them sort of restart. We actually took a renewed pledge sometime earlier to bring a total of 1 billion financially excluded people into the formal financial ecosystem. And amongst them, 50 million small, micro, and medium businesses into the digital economy by 2025. The way we sort of started to use some of this money, I just mentioned the soft skills a little earlier, also is identity management, where we worked with a partner of ours, a company called SignZ, who is part of our Start Path program, and where we made some investments, to look at video KYC and e-KYC, or very quick onboarding of these merchants, realizing that India doesn't just live in the cities, and India lives in villages in the smaller towns, tier 3, tier 4, 5, as we call them. We actually created a concept called Team CASHLESS, and we went around this rural and semi-urban ecosystem, creating awareness amongst merchants and consumers for raising adoption of digital payments. We also have a tie-up with a company called Soho and Fine Labs, which you might have heard of and just mentioned. These again provide value-added services offerings to MSMEs.
What are some of the frontier technologies or emerging technologies that Mastercard South Asia business has been trying out proof of concepts or tabling into the industry?
We are working with our bank partners to tokenize all of our card credentials. By tokenization, one converts a physical card number to a random, indivisible card number, and that stays as a token. And therefore, assuming that person gets compromised or somebody gets to know of it, nothing can be done with that from a safety and security standpoint. So the bad guys, if they get their hands on a token, will not be able to create any, security scare or issue on security, because tokens cannot be hacked and tokens cannot be used except for the particular transaction that they're used for. And therefore, as we speak today, more than 95% of our cards in India are already token ready. So, fully gearing up to a safe and secure environment. I think the second thing I want to touch upon is capability called safety net, where we use our position as a global network and using AI and data analytics to identify unusual behavior by cardholders or by potential hackers, and be able to identify potential attacks on fraud and either safety and security even before the bank or the processor or the cardholder or the merchant are even aware. And we prevented many $1 billion of potential fraud using safety net as a protocol. The last piece I want to touch upon is EMV 3D Secure. India runs on EMV 3D Secure, but we are actually adopting the next sort of version of EMV Secure. It's called 3D2, and that allows a far more superior way in which banks can actually authenticate transactions. Like I said, even without having to use an input password.
Thank you for your time again.
Thank you for your time, Fitria. You have a good day.
You too. Bye.